Oh boy, transgender women making sports go nuts. Regardless of what a biological male wishes to identify as, whether a gentle rainbow queer or an active sports competing transgender woman, the fact remains he is still a biological male with a penis. Regardless of his testosterone level, his bone and muscle structure remains, and way ahead on average he has bigger hands, longer arms, longer legs, bigger throat and lungs. A biological male has different genetics. His anatomy doesn't change because he's lowered his testosterone levels. And this is not fair to women, especially those biological women who are forced to compete against him in women's only sports.
It's not just height and lung capacity and bigger heart, it's also like a bigger throat. Because in swimming, like when you're swimming, and you need to breathe, be able to have a 40% bigger throat, to me, would be, it would have been amazing.
Scientifically, there is no current evidence that says that because of a testosterone level, that trans women have an inherent competitive advantage.
There's nothing that somebody can do that can make up for Leah Thomas's 6'4", bigger hands, longer limbs, bone density, that bigger throat.
American swimmer Leah Thomas, a trans athlete who competed for her university men's team before winning a women's national college title in March. She'd met eligibility rules requiring her to lower her testosterone, but her victory divided opinion.
Heat, spark, single, set.
Do you understand that that women have absolutely zero chance of winning?
New Zealander Laurel Hubbard, the first openly transgender athlete to compete in a different sex category to that which they were born at an Olympics. Her participation in the women's weightlifting in Tokyo last year sparked accusations of unfairness as well as support.
Every single female athlete I've spoken to is scared to speak out. The whole point of competition is to make it a fair and level playing field, and the only way to do that is to have a female category and then a male open category where the trans women can compete.
You can see all the world records are so much further, faster, whatever you want to use, than female world records. And that should be the evidence in itself, because trans women are biologically male, so they are at an advantage. There is so much more that differentiates men and women, and so much more benefits that males have than just testosterone.
It's gotten completely out of control, where a biological man can actually go into a female sport and for the most part always dominate, and yet it happened again. This time it actually happened in cycling. You guys can see here, transgender cyclist takes first place in women's category in New York City's Randall's Island Crit Race. Yeah, cycling. Now we know when it comes to cycling, guys, men can definitely dominate women in this. This is ridiculous, man.
Kelly J. Minshall, aka Posey Parker.
No man has a vagina! Non-binary is absolute nonsense! There is no such thing as non-binary!
Women can't compete against men regardless. How many biological women came in first place competing against biological men? This is an incredibly sad time in our society, and a particularly sad time for biological women in sports, which they've had to fight so hard to get to where they are as it is. The issue has never been what a person chooses to do with their lives. The issue is expecting everyone else to make concessions for them. When you make choices, there are ramifications for those decisions, and it is the responsibility of the rainbow transgender community to live with them, not everyone else. Thank you for listening. Wangari Tim. But wait, there's more.
The majority of those consulted stated that transgender athletes should not be competing in the female category.
World Athletics has banned transgender female athletes from competing in the women's category at international events. The governing body said no female transgender athlete who had gone through male puberty would be allowed to compete in female competitions after March. President Sebastian Coe says competing is not an option.
The majority of those consulted stated that transgender athletes should not be competing in the female category.